Hey everyone, it's Jamie here with your update, the first one in 2023. There's a lot that's happened in the Toronto real estate market over the last 12 to 18 months. It's been a little bit of a rocky road, and we're seeing a lot of things that we haven't seen be realities for the Toronto real estate market since probably about the early 90s. This is a market that a lot of people who own homes today haven't experienced. And I want to dive into the numbers and just share the things that stood out to me to try to give you some guidance on what's going on in the market right now. The first number that really jumped out to me was how low the number of sales was, the sales activity. To put it in recent context, the last time that we saw the sales be this low was in April of 2020, when we were in complete lockdown in the city and no one was sure what was going on because of COVID-19. That was the last time that we had sales activity anywhere near what we're at right now. In the month of January, there was 3,100 sales across the entire Toronto Real Estate Board. We are seeing the inventory increase of what's available in the marketplace. We wrapped up at the end of January with just a little bit over 9,000 available homes. To put that into a little bit of context, there's something called a months of inventory trend line. And that number has been growing month over month for several months now. At the height of the market, we had about 0.9 months of inventory available in the city of Toronto, and today we're sitting at 2. What this months of inventory trend line really tells us is that every single month there's more homes that are sitting on the market and staying on the market than are selling. When we get this market report, there's a sale to new listing ratio, a stat right now for most of the GTA. Less than half of the homes are selling in any given month. Now, with all this being said about months of inventory and how many homes are selling based on the number of listings that are being listed every single month, you would think that we are in a buyer's market and that homes would be selling for tens of thousands of dollars less than what they're being listed for. That's just not the reality of what's happening out there right now. One of the stats that you need to look at is the sale price to list price. For the most part, homes are selling for what they're listed for. If you're a buyer out there looking for a massive discount on the list price of a property, statistically, you're just not going to get it right now. The other thing that a lot of people have become used to over the last couple of years, and honestly over the last decade, is how quickly homes were selling in the city of Toronto. It was not unheard of for the average days on market for a property to be typically in the 7 to 14 day range. 1 or 2 weeks was considered a long time for a home to be on the market. Today, we're looking at a market where the average property is on the market for plus or minus about 40 days. And if your home's listed for sale and you're still on the market after a month, I also wouldn't sweat it too much because the average is saying that it's going to take a little bit over a month right now to sell your home. Now, the big question that everybody really wants to know: what are homes actually selling for in Toronto and how much are you actually going to have to spend? Year over year, we saw a big decline in the average price. January was starting to be the top of the market last year if we're looking 12 months back. So we're starting to see those year over year numbers from the very height of the market. The average price of a home on the Toronto Real Estate Board came down about 16.5%. The average price of a home today on the Toronto Real Estate Board sits at just over $1 million. The East End right now is a great place to get value because it's seen prices come down more than the West End of the city. You also have segments of the market like the townhouse and condo market in Toronto, which aren't down as much as other parts of the market. Those segments of the market are only down about 10%. And then when you look outside the city in the 905, those areas outside the city have seen the biggest price corrections, with detached homes and semi-detached homes in the 905 coming down almost 25%. Townhouses in the 905 have come down about 20%. Condos have performed the best, coming down about 13%. With first-time home buyers looking at condos predominantly, it's no surprise that we're seeing less of an impact on those. A lot happened in January just beyond house prices. We saw a Bank of Canada increase to the overnight rate of another 0.25%, but it really hasn't had any impact on the mortgage market because the long-term cost of money the market's betting is going to be cheaper than it is today. So they're offering better fixed rates than they are variable rates, which very rarely happens. The last time that we saw this in Ontario was for about a 1-month time period back in 2008. We also saw the inflation rate come down. The real reality that you probably care about is how does this actually impact you when it comes to all these numbers? The reality is that inflation coming down is a good thing for everybody. Where the market goes is a little bit of a question mark. But we do know a few things. We are seeing very few sales. We are seeing growing inventory. But what I can tell you about the market is that homes that are ready for people to move into, that don't have a lot of work to be done, and that are priced correctly for the market that we're in today, those homes are still selling. There's still about a third of homes, just around 25% actually, that are selling in multiple offers. And in some areas, it's predominantly multiple offers that homes are being sold in. Some people have been asking me, Jamie, do you think prices are going to fall? Are we going to see a crash? The reality is that the textbook definition of a crash is 20%. And we're not far off from that. The question that's really being posed to me is, how much further could prices fall? And the reality is that I don't think prices are going to fall greatly from where we are today unless we see more movement in that interest rate that people are having to pay. We may see some movement because some people who are either refinancing or on variable rates and can't afford their mortgages anymore, if we see an influx of inventory from that, we'll see the market take into account that. But in terms of seeing another 20% decrease in prices, unless if we see another massive increase in the borrowing rates, I just don't see a reality where prices drop steeply from where we are today. Is there room for prices that come down still based on where the market could go? Absolutely. On the flip side, we also have a bunch of immigration happening. And the reality is that we've had a supply problem in Toronto, and that hasn't gone away. I'm going to summarize it for you. If you're looking to sell, there's a great window right now from probably about the middle of February to the middle of March, because right now there's a bunch of interest from buyers and there's not a lot of good homes for sale. If you're looking to buy, don't be put off by what you're experiencing right now. I know myself and a lot of other real estate agents have clients who are experiencing multiple offers again, and they're asking the question, have I missed the boat? I think once the market gets past this early spring point and we get into the actual spring market of April, May, and June, there's going to be more inventory on the market. You're going to have a little bit more choice, and you're still going to have the opportunity to buy. If you're a seller, make sure you're providing what people want, which is a move-in ready home that's priced correctly for the market. So if you're thinking about selling or you're thinking about buying, there's a couple of links below. Let me know how I can help you, and I hope you found this helpful.